Hello, it's Ruffian, and today I wanted to talk to you about BreyerWest because I had a lot of fun there, but I posted my BreyerWest video and I realized a lot of people didn't know what BreyerWest was about. I'm not sure Breyer advertised it as well as they did BreyerFest. So basically, BreyerWest is supposed to be the BreyerFest of the West Coast, but they haven't done that in several years, since 2011 was the last year they did it. So this year was kind of like a test to see how it would go if they were to start doing BreyerWest again. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just like BreyerFest, and it was at the same time as a Real Horse Expo in Albany, Oregon. It used to be held in Sacramento, California, but I think the idea was that it was supposed to rotate around the West Coast. I'm not 100% sure. So I just kind of want to talk about BreyerWest, what went on there, and yeah. So Friday was the day of the open show, which was what I participated in, and I know a lot of people have shown in like the BreyerFest Open and they say it's super competitive, and I totally believe them because I showed in BreyerFest Youth a few years back and that was super competitive. But I showed at BreyerWest Open this year and it was fairly competitive. I would say it was more competitive in some divisions than others. I mean, it was all super competitive, but like people were bringing out horses that they hadn't shown for like 10, 15 years because, you know, this was almost as big as, well, not almost, but you know, it was, people were getting prize models, but they weren't like BreyerWest exclusive models. For Open, it was Tallulah for, like, section champions, so, like, draft champions, sport champions, whatever. And then reserve champion were even claws. And then, like, division, overall grand and reserves. The overall grand was, I believe it was Hermosa and Corazon, and reserve was Bobby Joe. But I might be getting the two mixed up, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, people were bringing out models that they hadn't for like 10, 15 years, and a lot of the models to see were really cool because they were stuff that I had never seen before at like the shows around me. Like they had test runs and, you know, just really rare models, and it was so cool to look at. I don't know, the show was amazing. There were so many people there. And it was great because you could talk to everyone and everyone was super friendly and the judges were really helpful and really nice, and it was a really good environment. Like, it was competitive, but everyone was friendly with each other, everyone was glad to be there. Everyone was a really good sport, which was really nice, and it's really nice for people who live on the West Coast to experience something like BreyerFest really close to them, because, you know, it's really expensive and it's really hard for people who live on the West Coast to fly out all the way to Kentucky where BreyerFest is every year. Now, one big difference between BreyerWest and BreyerFest is the special run models. I know, like, in the past, Breyer has had, you know, special run models for people who go to BreyerWest. But since this was kind of like a test run, they didn't have any this year. And, you know, at BreyerFest, they'll have like 6 or 7 special run models, and that's not including store specials. But there wasn't anything like that here at BreyerWest this year. We're hoping, since BreyerWest was really successful, that maybe the next time they do it, they'll offer like a celebration model or something like they have in the past. You know, a lot of people were really happy to go, even though there wasn't a special model of any kind. Because it was just a really good place to gather with fellow model horse collectors, and I don't know, it was such a great community there. So Saturday was the youth show, and I did not participate in the youth show, but I've heard that even that was pretty competitive, and I went and I watched towards the end when they were doing like overall champs and whatever, and a lot of them had really nice horses. Like, I would still be, you know, kind of intimidated by youth showers because some of the models I had were really nice. And Saturday was probably the day I spent most with, like, the real horse demonstrations, and, you know, since it's an expo, they have vendors there, So we got to check out some of the other vendors, and there were like Breyer vendors and such, so you could go get plastic ponies and whatever. And that was the day I went to see like most of the breed demonstrations. So I went and I saw Fjords and Paso Finos and Frisians and Gypsy Vanners, and there was a Welsh cob there too. And I went and I got to spend time with some of the horses, which was really cool. Yeah, there was also a class that day for making no-sew pony pouches, which was really nice. Oh, I have one here. And then they gave you a free model for your pony pouch, and this was the one that they gave us. Let's see if I can focus. Close enough. My camera doesn't have autofocus while filming, so sorry. And then this was the pony pouch that I was able to make. So it's actually fairly big. They gave us patterns and everything to work with, and it was a lot of fun. There were a lot of people in that class, and you could make pouches of all sizes. You could make them traditional, classic, stablemate, and it was so cool. I loved it. But that was the only class I had Saturday. Sunday, I spent most of my time in classes because I had 2 of them that day. They were both like really long, like 2 or 3 hour classes. So the first one was a introduction to sculpting class. So we went and we sculpted manes and tails of horses. I will get mine. Okay, so they gave us the like the activity, like the paint your own model set that came with like the mohair and everything. And what we did was we sculpted our own manes and tails. And yes, I know this tail is really low, but the way we did it is that so this horse used to have like a tailbone. So we drilled a hole like right underneath the tailbone to insert a wire. But I had trouble getting the wire in, so I just snapped off the tailbone, and the hole was actually quite a bit below the tailbone. So the tail is actually really low, so I need to get more epoxy to kind of build it up here. But this was my first time sculpting a mane and tail, and the class was super fun. Everyone had a great time together, and we got to see the teachers do things like chop off heads, and they demonstrated like how to work the epoxy and how to make tails. You know, the teachers were really helpful, but it was a lot of fun. And then the last class that I did on Sunday was a halter making class, and that one was really cool because like there wasn't like a set way you had to make your halter. You could kind of experiment and do different ways, and I learned techniques like rolling leather and how to skive leather better, and it was really great. I will show you the halter that I made. Okay, so my recording just stopped for some reason. But okay, so for the halter class we were given our own horse. For this class it was Top Sales Brand Maker. It's just like a basic stock halter, and it was a really fun class because everyone could go at their own pace, and you could make like different styles of stock halters, and they were really flexible with, you know, how you did it and whatever. And all of the teachers were super, super helpful, and they were all super supportive of everyone. And I mean, all of the classes there were just amazing. BreyerWest is kind of like BreyerFest, but this year it was pretty different, and having never been to a BreyerWest before, I can't really compare it to any others. But I think if you live on the West Coast and they do BreyerWest next year, you should definitely go, even if you don't participate in the model horse show. And we had people from like all the way across the country too to participate in BreyerWest, and definitely if you get the chance you should try to go to BreyerWest. And I think there's a better, I don't want to say this without seeming like a jerk, but I feel like there's a better community surrounding like the model horse show, because I've heard that sometimes at like BreyerFest it gets so competitive it's almost not fun, but everyone at the model horse show I believe had a lot of fun, and I didn't get the feeling that like everyone was super super competitive and it didn't like ruin anything. Everyone was just there to have a great time, and as far as I know everyone did have a great time. So yeah, that was basically my BreyerWest experience. I hope you enjoyed it. Please press the like button if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I am going to start making videos every Wednesday. I know I've probably said I'm going to start making videos weekly, but I will seriously start making videos every Wednesday.